Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you several different ways to convert video files on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, if you're looking to convert video files on your Mac, there are several different ways to do it. It really depends on what you're trying to do and why. So for instance, here I've got a variety of different video files. Notice how some of them are .mov files and some are .mp4 files. In fact, most of these are the same kind of video, MPEG video compressed with H.264 compression, but they have different file extensions. So it's important to understand something about video files, particularly ones with the extensions .mov, .mp4, and .m4v. These are all files that can contain in them H.264 compressed MPEG video, and that's usually what they've got. File extension isn't as important as what's inside. Think of the file extension as the type of envelope you may get with some papers in it. You can get a small white envelope, a large manila envelope, a plastic folder, maybe a cardboard box. They all can contain the same papers. It doesn't matter what the container is, it's what's inside that's the most important. These three file extensions are kind of like those different kinds of envelopes. They can encapsulate the same thing. So for instance, one of the most common reasons that people may be watching this video is that they need to upload or send video in a specific format to somebody or some website or server. And they're told that they need to provide MP4 files. However, what they really need to provide is H.264 compressed MPEG video. The file extension isn't as important, so they may have a .mov file like this one. And if I open it up by double-clicking it, it opens up in QuickTime Player, and I go to Window and Show Movie Inspector, I can see video format and audio format because there are two different tracks inside encapsulated in this file. And the video format is H.264, which is a type of MPEG video file. And that's what is needed. The fact that it's named .mov is really irrelevant because you could simply go in and change the extension here to MP4. Anytime you change an extension, you're going to get a warning. You say, sure, let's do it. And if you try to play this video now, it plays just like before. I'm doing it there using Quick Look. And if you send it to somebody, maybe somebody that said the MOV file didn't work, now it may just work for them because the system they're using doesn't understand that an MOV file is basically the same thing. So if your problem is that you need to convert an MOV or an M4V file to MP4, first, try just changing the file extension. That may allow you to upload it or the other person to view it just fine without ever having to convert the video. This will probably solve the video conversion problem for half the people that are watching this without actually even converting the file, just basically renaming it. But sometimes you do need to actually convert the file. For instance, if I look at this one, if I double click on it, open up a QuickTime Player, use Command-I to get that inspector, note the video format is HEVC, which is a fairly new format that Apple uses. Sending this file, no matter what the extension is, to somebody else, say using an older Windows machine, they may not be able to play the file at all. So you need to convert it. Now, QuickTime Player is all you need in this case. So using QuickTime Player, you can go to File and Export As. Not Save, but Export As. Choose the size. So it's the main thing that you do with QuickTime Player is you can convert down in size. So I can convert to, say, 720p, and this will allow me to have a much smaller video because it's only 720 pixels vertically instead of the 4K video, which is 2,160 pixels vertical. But even if I just stick with what the video is now, 4K, notice that now I've got the ability to convert from HEVC. I can go down to the older H.264 MPEG video, which will make it more compatible for people. And it's going to save this out as a MOV file. That's what the original is saved as. And once I get the finished one right here, I can actually go in and change the file extension just like I showed before. And now this works perfectly fine as a .mp4 file, and I could send it or upload or do whatever I need with it. Now, sometimes you need more than this. Sometimes you have a file maybe that's not working if you try to import it into iMovie, for instance. And you can use QuickTime Player for that as well, because you can open up a variety of different video formats in QuickTime Player to play them and export them. So just using the same technique I just showed you before, you can open up a file that's not an MP4 file. If it opens up a QuickTime Player and allows you to play it in QuickTime Player, you can export it as an H.264 MPEG file that will then work in iMovie and other apps. So QuickTime Player can be your general purpose video conversion app. If you need more than what QuickTime Player provides, then you've got to go to another app. If you want to figure out like what's the big one, what's the official kind of video conversion app? Well, Apple actually has one. It's called Compressor. It's been around for a long time, and you can get it in the App Store. It costs a little bit, but it does allow you to convert from a lot of different formats to a lot of other formats with tons of detail. So more than just choosing the size, you can actually choose the compression rate. You can choose different video codecs, all sorts of things. So here's Compressor in action. I could take, say, this video right here, drop it in there, and then I can reveal the sidebar here. I can pick a format or add a custom format. So I can create a preset here, change the format, say, to an MPEG-4 file, like that. With this selected, I could click here, and I can actually change all sorts of different things about exactly how the video is saved and the different formats that are used and compression rates and all that for video and for audio as well. Then I could drag this to here, saying I want to convert this video to this format that I've created, hit Start Batch, and it will convert this video file for me. There's a pretty steep learning curve to using Compressor. It's a pretty highly technical app. So if you want something simpler, you can search for Convert Video in the App Store, and a variety of different apps will appear. A lot of them are free but have in-app purchases for more advanced features, or they're free and have ads in them and things like that. I certainly haven't gone through and done a comprehensive review on any of these, but I have no doubt that they all work at some level to convert different video files. For instance, I randomly picked this one here, and if I open it up, you can see I could just drag and drop a video file in it. It'll convert all sorts of files, even ones that QuickTime Player doesn't do. So for instance, an MKV file is a common one that people really can't convert with QuickTime Player. You can drag and drop this one in here and then pick the format that you want and hit convert. Kind of annoyingly sends it into the TV app, but you can easily go to the file itself and kind of pull it out afterwards. And you can see I've converted that MKV file to a MP4 file without too much difficulty. Another app that's been around for a long time, predating the Mac App Store, is one called VLC, which is generally used as a video player to be able to queue up a bunch of videos or even audio and play them. But it has a conversion feature. So I'm going to run VLC, and it's going to start off by giving me this player window here. But I'm not even going to use that. I'm going to close that and just go to File, Convert/Stream. And then here I can drop in a file like this one and then select what I want it to convert to, customize it. I could save it as a file, pick a location. I'll just save it back to that same directory, hit save, and then save here, and it will convert it to that format. I find though it's a little hit or miss, especially with like MKV files and such, as to whether it actually converts it. And it does take a long time with very little feedback. So you simply have to wait for the file conversion to finish, and you're not really sure when that actually happens. So VLC is another tool to try, but it may or may not work in your situation. Another option is that there are websites that will convert video. You upload your video to the website and then you download the new converted version. Of course, a lot of them are filled with ads. A lot of them ask you to sign up in advance, and a lot of them will have names that you don't really recognize. So I want to mention this as an option, but personally, I wouldn't trust most of these sites with my video content. However, there are some known names on here. For instance, here is Adobe. They have a quick site. As long as you have a free Adobe account, you can upload video to Adobe Express and then download a converted version from them. Since so many of us use other Adobe apps and have Adobe accounts at the site for that anyway, that's a decent option there. So to sum up, in a lot of cases, you may not need to convert a video file at all, particularly if it's a .mov or .m4v file. You may just be able to change the file name to .mp4 and that may work for your situation. In most other cases, opening the video in QuickTime Player, if you can open it and can play it in QuickTime Player, you can export it from QuickTime Player in a more standard format. If that doesn't work, you can try either Apple's Compressor app or a third-party app in the App Store or the VLC app. Plus, if you like using web apps instead, there are a variety of web apps that will convert video files too. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.